Today we are going to look into DailyMed, which is a website maintained by FDA in the USA. And DailyMed has and is an official repository for all of the, drugs. Now these are drugs like human drugs or animal drugs in the American market. So we talk about label here. Label is a document which is about the science behind and the science that is supporting the claims that we do when we talk about safety, efficacy, and quality profile of our drug. So if you would like to have access to any scientific document related to all of these topics of a drug, which is a mandatory a document, you will need to go to DailyMed. And DailyMed, again, the URL is dailymednlm.nih.gov. If not, you can just search in any search engine on internet and you search for DailyMed in one word, DailyMed. Now, let's go over one product label that we are going to see. I chose today Ozempic. So Ozempic is a drug which is marketed in the USA, and in DailyMed we can access the information about Ozempic. So this information is an information that can be added into the package label, into the label of the product, and this is what we are going to see now. So let's go over what is in the DailyMed website related to our drug, which is Ozempic. So when we go through here, we see that there is a type of sections after sections. So we understand that, and this is the law, of course, that when you're having a drug in the US, you must write a product label, but the product label must have the same template for all of the product labels. This is why FDA is asking all of their pharmaceutical companies to use the mandatory FDA template for writing a product label. Of course, the same thing applies to several other countries such as Canada, where Health Canada has the equivalent document that is called the Canadian Product Monograph, where the Canadian Product Monograph has also a mandatory template for all of the drugs that are on the market in Canada. So if you would like to write a product label for a product in the US, you have to go to FDA website looking for the mandatory template for writing a product label that you're going to submit, of course, to FDA, and you're going to, of course, through your new drug application process, and you're going to have your product label on the market. When you're in Canada, for example, you will need to go to Health Canada website and then to search for the product monograph template, which is a mandatory template. It's a document with different sections having a template where all of the products in Canada must have a product monograph, and it must be written using the Health Canada mandatory template for product monographs. Now let's go back to DailyMed. Let's go over the product label for a drug that we chose here, which is Ozempic. And let's go over different sections that we have. So here, of course, you can download the drug label information in PDF format. You can also look into the medication guide. You also have the official label, printer friendly, of this drug. But I am not going to print or use that. I'm going to go over the content of this website because I'm interested in the content. So you have one section in the American label template which is highlighting of description information. So it will give you the information about, you have the warning letter, you have the recent major changes, because we may change the label a few times per year depending on the new information that we may receive related to the safety, efficacy, or the quality of the drug. Then we have another section about the indication and usage. So the indication is the approved indication for the drug. You cannot just use a drug and then to use it off label, meaning that you use the drug for an indication that it has not been approved for. However, we have again some ways to use off-label, I would say having off-label use of a drug. This is when we are going to talk with the doctor, and the doctor is going to again contact the pharmaceutical company that will then contact Health Canada in order to allow the doctor to use a drug for, of course, an off-label use. But in this case, this is as per the authorization from the regulatory authority. But just like this, you cannot just again advertise or even market a drug for an indication that has not been approved. So another section is about the dosage and administration. So here again, for Ozempic, you have all of the information for the dosage and administration. We also have a section for dosage forms and strengths. It may be tablets, not for Ozempic, for any drug. It may be tablets, syrup, it can be injections, of course. You have several routes of administration. We also have the section for contraindications, because this is related to the safety profile of the drug. You also have a section for warnings and precautions, where the pharmacists, they are going to read the label. They are also going to explain the risks of using a product, this prescription drug, to their patients when they are dispensing the medication. The same rule applies to physicians, where they also need to learn about the products that they are prescribing, and at the time when you have a medical visit, and if the doctor is going to prescribe some drugs to you, he or she is also going to again explain and talk about the warnings and precautions of the drug as well. You also have another section in the American label which is about the adverse reactions. So we have lists, and of course even a list of all of the adverse drug reactions that we know so far. That list may also increase. The numbers, the frequency of the occurrence of those adverse drug reactions may also change. This is why we also update the product label in the US. And the same updates apply to the product monograph in Canada as well. So talking about again the American label here for this product, we also have a section in the label of the product on the drug interactions, then use in specific populations, and then we start with the table of contents. In the table of contents, we are going to continue again looking into or accessing the information about the recommended dose, about the important administration instructions, about the contraindications, about the dosage and forms, about the warnings, and then we talk about the adverse reactions. We give numbers in tables, in graphs that may change as well over time, and then we are going to, it's going to trigger, of course, updates or amendments to the product label in the US, and then use in the specific population any information about the overdose, and then we describe, of course, the product, and then we talk about the clinical pharmacology, the mechanism of action, and don't forget that for some drugs we may not know about the precise mechanism of action, which is okay. I mean, we know that some antibiotics, for example, if these are proteins, they are going to do their work, but then they are going to be degraded in the body, and we don't know, necessarily the mechanism of action, even if we may know based on the fundamental science. And then we have information about the pharmacodynamics, about pharmacokinetics. Then, if applicable and if available, you will have information about other types of, I would say, information. It may be on immunology, it may be on, again, now different studies, it may be also in animal studies, how the product is supplied, is handled, etc. And then we also have sometimes, the majority of cases, patient counseling information. So as you see, you have in DailyMed almost all of the information that you need in order to know more or learn more about the safety, efficacy, and quality profile of a drug. Here we are in DailyMed, and we were looking into again the content, the scientific content that we have in the product label as of September 17, 2020. But again, this information can change. Perfect. So now that we are done with this, we can understand where we can go in order to obtain the most up-to-date and accurate information about the drug label for a drug in the USA.